Tonight, the deadly plane disaster, a passenger plane crashing into another plane, going up into flames. And in New York City and much of the Northeast, bracing for what could be a major winter storm. First tonight, that passenger jet crashing into a Coast Guard cargo plane while landing on the runway in Tokyo, bursting into flames as it slides to a stop. Nearly 400 passengers and crew racing to escape. Matt Gutman in Tokyo tonight. Here in the U.S., the investigation in upstate New York tonight, the car crash and deadly inferno in Rochester. Multiple people dead. Authorities say this was intentional. They say the driver, with at least a dozen canisters filled with gas in his rented SUV. Aaron Gutersky reporting. Tonight, the embattled president of Harvard abruptly resigning amid allegations of plagiarism and backlash over her testimony on anti-Semitism on campus. The alarming break-in at the Colorado Supreme Court. A suspect allegedly shooting his way into the building, holding a guard hostage at gunpoint. The migrant crisis in the U.S. now hitting the suburbs outside major cities. After New York City's mayor said you must give us 32 hours notice, buses carrying hundreds of asylum seekers now dropping off migrants in the suburbs. Tonight, the major headline in the Israel-Hamas war, a top Hamas official killed in a massive explosion in Beirut. Late today, former President Trump appealing Maine's decision to bar him from the primary ballot there. And tonight, Nikki Haley now saying it's about time Trump showed up at the debates. Rachel Scott in Iowa. Tonight, the potential snowstorm coming to the Northeast. New York City now bracing for what could be its first significant snow in more than a year. All part of back-to-back storms sweeping across the country, and we'll time them out. In New York City, the earthquake tonight knocking out power in parts of the city. Residents reporting the sounds of possible explosions. And America Strong tonight, what happened right at the stroke of midnight on New Year's? You couldn't have planned this.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to be back with all of you in the new year here. We do begin tonight, though, with this horrific crash, a passenger plane crashing into a Coast Guard plane while coming in for a landing in Tokyo. The awful moment caught on video, the passenger plane touching down, colliding with that second plane, erupting into a fireball, trailing smoke as it continues down the runway. The passengers soon racing to escape down the emergency slide right there. 379 passengers and crew on that Japan Airlines flight getting off just before it was completely engulfed in flames. The 5 crew members on the Coast Guard cargo plane did not survive this. This crash, part of Japan's twin tragedies. That Coast Guard plane was actually full of supplies, bound for the part of Japan devastated by an earthquake on New Year's just 24 hours earlier. Tonight here, the investigation, of course. How did this happen? ABC's Matt Gutman leading us off on the scene in Tokyo.
Tonight, the urgent investigation into how this Japan Airlines flight landing at one of the busiest airports in the world collided with a Japanese Coast Guard plane readying for takeoff. Video showing the moment of impact, Flight 516 loaded with 379 passengers and crew engulfed in flames blazing down the runway. The plane sliding to a stop on its nose and belly. Inside, smoke fills the cabin, emergency slides deployed, and dozens of firefighters dousing the wreckage with fire retardant.
Landing
after
fire.
But they went on the slides. The emergency exit.
No, yes.
We spoke to Yamake, who was on that flight, and says this video was shot from his seat, fire shooting from the engine. Then what he saw on the outside. The plane on its belly, foam raining down as fire incinerated the wing. Miraculously, everyone on board was evacuated within seconds, authorities saying 17 people suffered injuries. Tonight, the runway is closed and only the charred hull remains, experts crediting the carbon fiber fuselage and passengers heeding the commands of cabin crew with all those lives saved.
Almost always these incursions and these near misses are the result of human error, whether it was human error in the control tower, on the ground, in one of the cockpits. That's something that the Japanese will need to determine.
French crash investigators, joined by 5 investigators from Airbus, will travel to Japan. This is what they'll be focusing on.
Japan 5 and 6 continue with vehicle right.
Communication with air traffic control. Japanese authorities saying 5 members of that Coast Guard plane sitting on the runway were killed. This was part of the twin tragedies that struck Japan within 24 hours. That Coast Guard flight headed to western Japan to deliver aid after a massive 7.6 earthquake shook the country hours into the new year. The quake sparking fires and liquefying the ground, triggering mudslides. The death toll there rising. At least 55 people have died as rescuers race to find trapped residents under collapsed buildings. And more tremors today as new footage shows the widespread destruction, roads split in two, homes buried under the mud.
Just extraordinary, these two disasters for Japan. Matt Gutman with us there live at the airport in Tokyo. Matt, you were telling us before we came on tonight that some of those passengers are the ones who've been stranded trying to rebook flights. And what a miracle that so many of these passengers, the entire passengers and crew, all got off before this was engulfed in flames.
As investigators continue to probe this crash, David, it is becoming clear that had that Coast Guard plane nosed even just a few feet farther onto the runway, it might have collided not with the wing and the engine of Flight 516, but with its fuselage, causing what experts tell us would have been a catastrophic explosion. Those passengers on board telling us that there was no panic. Everybody exited the plane in an orderly fashion, and they heeded the commands of the crew to leave their personal belongings on that plane. David.
An extraordinary crew, of course. Matt Gutman leading us off here tonight. Matt, thank you. Meantime, back here in the U.S. tonight into the deadly crash and inferno in upstate New York just after midnight on New Year's Day. Investigators in Rochester tonight now saying it appears to be intentional. A large SUV colliding with an Uber as a concert was getting out, both vehicles that striking pedestrians crossing the street. 3 people were killed, 2 passengers in that Uber, and the suspect in the large rented SUV also dying in his vehicle. Firefighters found at least a dozen gas canisters inside that SUV, and ABC senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky in Rochester tonight.
Tonight, police here in Rochester believe this fiery crash less than an hour into 2024 was no accident. They identified this man, 35-year-old Michael Avery, as the driver of a large SUV filled with gas cans that barreled into a crowd of people leaving a concert, and they said he did it on purpose.
Avery sped up, crossed into the oncoming lane of traffic, and appears to have intentionally been driving towards the pedestrian crossing.
9 pedestrians were hurt, but many more could have been had the SUV not collided with a smaller rideshare vehicle pulling out of the parking lot, killing 2 passengers. Identified tonight as 29-year-old Joshua Orr and 28-year-old Justina Hughes.
You believe he sped up or sped toward the crosswalk and the pedestrians?
Yes, you can clearly see that.
It was intentional.
And it was days in the making. Police said Avery came to Rochester from Syracuse, checking into a hotel December 27th. Police have now searched his room. 2 days later, he left his car at the airport and rented the large SUV. The day after that, he went around buying gas cans and filling them up. At least a dozen were found in and around the charred wreckage.
The smell of gasoline was just so intense. I couldn't believe how strong it was.
So far, authorities have found no evidence of any ties to foreign or domestic terrorism and no social or political bias. The suspect died of his injuries.
So why Rochester? Why gas cans? David, police say the suspect had no known ties here. His family told the authorities they believe he was suffering from some kind of an undiagnosed mental health condition. David?
All right, Aaron Katersky in Rochester, New York tonight. Aaron, thank you. We turn to the other headline breaking late today. The embattled president of Harvard, Claudine Gay, abruptly resigning. It comes 4 weeks after her controversial testimony at a congressional hearing on anti-Semitism on campus. That led to new scrutiny and allegations of plagiarism on her part. Gay was only the second woman to hold the post and the first person of color. Tonight, her 6-month tenure is the shortest in Harvard's nearly 400-year history. Here's ABC's Selina Wang tonight.
Tonight, Harvard's embattled president Claudine Gay resigning, facing accusations of plagiarism and weeks of criticism for her congressional testimony on anti-Semitism and hate on campus. In a statement, Gay saying she resigned, quote, so that our community can navigate this moment of extraordinary challenge with a focus on the institution rather than any individual. Gay was one of the 3 top university presidents who came under fire over their statements to members of Congress who said those leaders were not doing enough to combat anti-Semitism.
Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment, yes or no?
It can be, depending on the context.
What's the context?
Targeted at an individual.
It's targeted at Jewish students, Jewish individuals. Do you understand your testimony is dehumanizing them?
Afterwards, Gay apologized for what she called poor wording in her testimony. Gay under pressure to step down from House members, donors, and prominent alumni. And more recently, she faced allegations of plagiarism for material contained in her academic writings. Harvard had previously ordered an investigation that revealed, quote, a few instances of inadequate citation, but the university finding no violation of its standards for research misconduct. And David, Claudine Gay was Harvard's first black president, and she was only in that position for 6 months, the shortest in Harvard's entire history. And some professors, they're unhappy about how all of this went down, saying that the university is caving to Republican political pressure. David?
Selina Wang live in Washington. Selina, thank you. Now to the alarming break-in at the Colorado Supreme Court in Denver. Authorities say a suspect shot his way into the building overnight, holding a guard hostage, making his way to an upper floor, then continuing to shoot. The justices there have been under threat since a ruling barring former President Trump from the state's primary ballot. ABC's Mola Lenghi in Denver tonight.
Tonight, an armed man breaking into the Colorado Supreme Court building in Denver, where justices are already on high alert after ruling Donald Trump off the state's primary ballot 2 weeks ago. Police saying 44-year-old Brandon Olson was first involved in a car crash right outside the court building just after 1 a.m.
There was a car accident. One of the vehicles involved, party pulled a gun out.
Police adding that Olson pointed that gun at the other driver, then broke into the building by shooting out a window. Authorities saying he then held an unarmed guard at gunpoint, took his keys, and made his way to the 7th floor, where he fired from the building. Officials say no one was struck. A tense standoff dragging on for 2 hours until about 3 a.m. Olson calling 911 and surrendering. Colorado court justices receiving threats after ruling President Trump ineligible for the state's primary, citing the Constitution's 14th Amendment in saying his actions on January 6th amounted to insurrection. But officials today say they've confirmed with a high probability this incident is not associated to the recent threats.
So, David, even with the Colorado High Court here being in the news recently for disqualifying former President Trump from the primary ballot, Denver police do not believe this incident was connected, David.
Mola Lenghi in Denver for us. Thank you, Mola. Now to the migrant crisis hitting the suburbs outside major cities in this country after New York City's mayor said you must give the city 32 hours notice. Buses carrying hundreds of asylum seekers from the south now dropping off migrants outside New York and other major cities. Here's Stephanie Ramos.
Tonight, the influx of migrants to major cities far from the border is spreading to their suburbs, after New York's mayor Eric Adams issued an order requiring buses carrying migrants from border cities to New York to give the city a minimum of 32 hours notice. Hundreds of migrants were instead bused to commuter train stations in New Jersey, where they rode trains into New York, effectively circumventing the order. A similar situation in the suburbs of Chicago. Some 350 migrants flown to Rockford Airport over the weekend, then bussed in. Tonight, Mayor Adams is blaming Texas Governor Greg Abbott and asking more cities to issue executive orders.
It's not about just New York. No city should be going through this, and it's not sustainable.
Sources tell ABC News there were 302,000 migrant encounters in December alone, the preliminary numbers far surpassing the previous record of nearly 270,000 in September. Abbott and other border governors have said until the situation is brought under control and properly addressed, they will continue to send migrants to these so-called sanctuary cities.
Lawmakers on both sides agree they need federal help and a solution from Congress to deal with this situation. Today, senators met with the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Negotiators are expected to keep meeting this week to try and reach a deal on the border, David.
Stephanie Ramos on this for us. Steph, thank you. To the major headline from the Israel-Hamas war tonight, a top Hamas official has now been killed in a massive explosion in Beirut. ABC's Marcus Moore from Israel tonight.
Tonight, a massive explosion rocking the Lebanese capital, Beirut, killing a top Hamas official. Video circulating online showing the fiery scene of the blast in the Beirut suburb of Dahia, a Hezbollah stronghold. Salak al-Aruri, the second in command of Hamas and a senior leader in the West Bank, among at least 6 people killed, according to Lebanese authorities. Lebanon's state-run news agency says Israel carried out the attack, which, if confirmed, would mark a major escalation and would be Israel's first attack on Beirut since 2006. Israel tonight declining to comment. But Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had threatened to kill Aruri before the Israel-Hamas war erupted on October 7th. Today's blast in Beirut follows weeks of cross-border attacks in southern Lebanon and northern Israel between Hezbollah fighters and IDF soldiers. And David, everyone here in the region bracing for retaliation from Hamas and Hezbollah, and concern is still high that this war could escalate into a much wider conflict. David.
It has been the ongoing concern for sure. Marcus Moore, thank you. Back here now in the race for the White House. Just 13 days, hard to believe, to the Iowa caucuses tonight. Former President Trump with a 30-point lead in polling in Iowa, and now officially appealing a decision in Maine barring him from the primary ballot in that state. Here's Rachel Scott from Iowa now.
Tonight, former President Donald Trump is fighting to get on every primary ballot, appealing the decision by Maine Secretary of State as biased, saying she had no legal authority to bar him from running. In two unprecedented decisions, Maine and Colorado had taken the former president off the ballot, citing the 14th Amendment, which blocks anyone who swore an oath to the Constitution and engaged in an insurrection or rebellion from holding office. But Trump's lawyers tonight arguing the insurrection clause bars people from holding specified offices, not from running for them or being elected to them, insisting the secretary wrongfully denied President Trump a place on the Republican primary ballot. With just 13 days until the first contest, Trump still holds a commanding lead in Iowa, more than 30 points ahead of his rivals. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is going all in on Iowa, visiting all 99 counties.
Are you ready to work hard over these next 2 weeks so that we win the Iowa caucus?
But he's losing ground to Nikki Haley, who is gaining momentum. Only Trump, DeSantis, and Haley have qualified for the next debate. And tonight, Haley challenging Trump to show up with her and DeSantis, saying, as the debate stage continues to shrink, it's getting harder for Donald Trump to hide.
Trump plans to skip that debate entirely and instead attend a separate town hall. As for that decision in Colorado, the former president is expected to appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. David.
Rachel Scott in Des Moines for us. Rachel, thank you. When we come back here tonight, New York City and the Northeast bracing for what could be a major snowstorm. It could be the first significant snow in some time. Also, the earthquake tonight hitting New York City, the calls to 911, and the deadly shark attack at a well-known beach in a moment. Tonight, New York City and the Northeast bracing for what could be a major snowstorm. It could be the first significant snowfall in the city in more than a year. All depends on the track, of course. It's part of back-to-back storms from California to the East Coast. Heavy rain, snow, and huge waves from Seattle to Los Angeles through tomorrow. Then the system moves to Texas and across the South by Friday. Snow, heavy rain, strong winds, and coastal flooding all possible. You see it there, D.C. up I-95 into New York City this weekend. Heavy precipitation and winds. Of course, we'll continue to track it for you. Long before the storm, a small earthquake rattling parts of New York City tonight. The magnitude 1.7 quake jolting residents in Manhattan and Queens. Callers to 911 reporting small explosions believed to be caused by the quake. Power knocked out for some on Roosevelt Island. No damage reported. When we come back tonight, the surfer killed in a shark attack near a popular beach. To the index, and authorities are investigating what they believe is a deadly shark attack off Maui. A surfer badly bitten over the weekend. First responders carrying him back to shore in a jet ski. It was just the second deadly shark attack in the U.S. last year. When we come back tonight, what happened when the clock hit midnight on New Year's? You couldn't plan this, just down the hall from each other. Finally tonight here, the New Year's babies with perfect timing. America Strong. Tonight, the new year and the new babies from Florida to Virginia to Connecticut. In New Jersey, at the Virtua Voorhees Hospital, Eve and Billy Humphrey have just welcomed twin boys. One in 2023, the other minutes into 2024. Baby Ezra, born at 11:48 p.m. New Year's Eve. Baby Ezekiel, 40 minutes later, 12:28, just after midnight.
I just know they're going to be world changers.
Seeing them in person and seeing their faces, I was like, they're so cute. I'm so glad they're healthy.
And in Boston, 3 babies born when the clock struck midnight. At Brigham and Women's Hospital, parents Margarita and Roberto Rosa holding their newborn Selina, 6 pounds, 5 ounces.
We went in with like an original plan. God bless any woman who goes in and they think that they're going to stick with their plan.
And just a half-mile away at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, Min Lee and Y.N. Wang welcoming their first child, Ophelia, 6 pounds, 8 ounces. Mom and the newborn both wearing their Happy New Year headbands. And just down the hall, baby Emily DeRoma, born at 7 pounds, 15 ounces. With proud parents Eileen and Andrew, big sisters Haley and Kelsey, and of course, the medical team too. And right here tonight.
Thank you, David. Please meet Emily Margaret DeRoma.
Mom, baby, and nurses Rachel and Gabby.
For all the babies, all the newborns, for the mothers who just gave birth. Happy New Year. Cheers. Yes.
Welcome to the world and all the hope you bring with it. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir America's most watched newscast.